It is Monday the 27th of January, and today we'll have a look at Novo Nordisk, but first I have to tell you that this is a disclaimer saying that this is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended doing this little video here. It's only for educational purpose only, so you can see that how I use the charts, how you can use the charts, and how you can add technical analysis to your trading and investment if you're doing so. All right, let's start with Novo Nordisk. Massive bounce here Friday. What it actually has shown the past couple of weeks has shown divergence. You can see the RSI is moving higher here, where the market moved or the price moved lower, closed lower here, and then we had a bounce and they had a strong move Friday. Couldn't hold on that much, and let's see here, pre-market still unchanged, but there's still about 10 minutes until it opens, so let's see. But it seems like the downtrend has exhausted. Here on the weekly chart we can see that what actually going on. We had this overhead shoulder pattern, and it reached the more than its potential, as illustrated by the vertical arrows here, actually all the way down to around 525, which was at the lower part area of this consolidation area down here, and just below the 200 weekly moving average, bouncing now here. It didn't perform completely bullish engulfing here last week, but very close to. So I think we could see it maybe crawling higher. Also here we had on the weekly, there's divergence indicating trend exhaustion. It's not like it's going ballistic anytime soon, but it seems like we have found a base at least. Novo Nordisk also in the US market, same picture really. Here you can see divergence and trying to get back above and close this gap here, but it failed so far. But of course it will be the Danish listed, the main listing, that will determine that outcome. On S&P 500, we had a little bit of down day Friday, but it wasn't that unsurprising. I mean, after a very good week, we should give a little bit back. We are around 6,100. Here pre-market actually it looks a little bit even more gloomy, as you can see here. Let's just zoom in here. We are down about 1%, and it seems like we are in a correction phase at least. So market is setting back a little bit. So let's have a look at what's actually going on. We are almost at the 38.2 retracement at 5,989. We could push a little bit lower to test the cloud area here. On the weekly, let's see the gas index again. On the weekly, well, we are still in a bullish trend, and we had this bullish engulfing here. So I still think we'll crawl higher in the coming weeks, but I would like to see the RSI back above the falling trend line right there. The Nasdaq 100 also here, a little bit of a setback Friday, but pre-market we are really quite down. We are down 2.5%, and let's have a look at here on the weekly chart. You see testing the upper falling trend line. We could set back to test the 21,000 level here fairly shortly, but let's see. There's still a little bit of time to the opening, and sometimes it evens out a little bit. Also Dow Jones, we can see it pushed higher, bullish engulfing here. We are actually in a bullish trend. However, it is with the divergence indicating trend exhaustion, but RSI back above 60 threshold, indicating also that we could move higher. So here pre-market, you can see we are back 44,000. I could set back a little bit more, test maybe the cloud area here and the 55 moving average. Then I think it will bounce back and try clawing its way higher. European markets, we had EuroStoxx 50, and we talked about it Friday. There was a possibility of a top and reversal, or at least a correction, and not necessarily reversal, because we are still in a positive sentiment. There's no divergence, meaning there's no indication of trend exhaustion. I think we could see a setback to about 5,100, and here pre-market we're down about 1%, and I think I will zoom in a little bit. Let's do that. Zoom in a little bit. We can see where we are actually moving around. The 5,120, we have 5,085, which is the 38.2 retracement of this entire uptrend here since late December. So giving back a little bit is not a surprise. I think we will find a ground around 5,100. And the DAX index, well, also we talked about it Friday after reaching the 200% of this correction phase here, and just above, just looking at 21,520, just about at that level, and I think we'll see a correction here also. We are down about almost 1% here pre-market. I think we could see a setback to about 21,000, maybe 20,800 level, which is the 38.2 retracement. Then I think we will bounce back. Euro dollar has bounced almost up or moved up to the 786 retracement at 105.30.32. There is potential up to 106.30. I'm not quite sure we get there. The RSI is just peeped above the 60 threshold, just marginally. Let's see if that can actually hold. If we're sliding back and if we're taking out 103.50, well, then I think we'll see downtrend resuming. Actually, if we take out 103.70, I think we can conclude we are resuming downtrend. So it's a little bit on the knife's edge here at the moment at around 104.60 testing that, but if it pushing higher and take out the 105.35, well, then I think we'll see the 106.30 level being tested. Cable pushing higher here at 125.40, very close to that. Could still push up to that, but RSI is still negative sentiment. Didn't close above 60 threshold. Could set back if it takes out 122.90, then expect downtrend to resume. And Euro sterling currently also in a correction phase. We talked about it for quite some time, but that it was likely to see that, and now it's at the 38.2 retracement at 83.93. It could still push lower to a little bit lower, maybe even down to the 61.8 at 83.40 level. I'm not sure about that, but it is possible before I think we will see uptrend could resume. Dollar yen still trading sideways, testing the 55 moving average Friday again, and the 38.2 retracement 154.97. So it's really still up in the air. Will it push lower if it takes out this 154.75? Then I think we'll see a correction down to around the 200 moving average and the 61.8 retracement 152.55, but still up in the air. If it starts moving back above the 21 moving average and back above 157.50, then I think uptrend will resume. So we are also here dancing around that support and resistance levels. Euro yen, well, it actually is still in a bullish trend, positive sentiment still, and after bouncing from the support here 159.80, it could push up to the 165 resistance area. The Aussie yen, well, seems like it's getting a little bit tired now. Negative sentiment still on the RSI, indicating downtrend could resume. We are currently just below the cloud, and if it slides back lower and takes out the 97.40, I think we'll see a downtrend resuming with a push lower on Aussie yen. Sterling yen has bounced strongly up to the 61.8 retracement on 194.85. Still negative sentiment on the RSI. Could it be rejected here? And it has been rejected here both Friday and this morning, and back below the cloud. Then it could resume downtrend. If it takes out the lows from Friday at 192, then expect a downtrend to resume. If it takes out the peak here from today, well, expect a push up to at least 196.35. Aussie dollar, well, reached almost the resistance and 32 retracement here at 63. The 35.40 level and the 55 moving average, and now it seems to be rejected. RSI being rejected at 60 threshold, could resume downtrend, but let's see if it turns around today and push higher here, then it could continue higher, but I think it will resume downtrend for now. And on the dollar Canada, still in this sideways range here between 142.70 and 145. That's the what it needs to break out of. Just adjust this a little bit. If RSI breaks back above 60 threshold and above the falling trend line, then the uptrend is likely to resume. Sterling Canada, well, busy day Friday, pushed higher. and quite volatile today, as we can see. Around the 179 level seems to be an important level. RSI is still below 60 threshold. If it can't close above 60 threshold, well, the downtrend or the sterling Canada could slide lower and then lose momentum. You see it almost touched the upper part of the cloud area here, but it didn't close above. So let's see where it ends today. That could be key. If we end back below the cloud area and back below the 60 threshold, I think we'll slide back lower. Euro Swiss, well, Euro Swiss spiked to 95 and a bit, 95.18, and the just above the 200 moving average and just above the 95 resistance here. Still in a bullish trend. Could push higher, but it seems like we are just taking a little breather, taking back here. Could test 94.50. If it takes out the peak from today and Friday, well, then there's potential higher too. And let's see where the next resistance area could be. Just around 95.80, 96 level up here, and we could see that. If it starts sliding back below the 94.50, it could test it. Then we are looking at the rising trend line here that could give some support. On the dollar Swiss, still above the 38.2 retracement and support here at 90.20. If it takes out that wall, then I think we'll see a correction lower towards the 89.65 level, maybe even the 89 level down here, 89.15. But for now, it is holding on above. If it bounces, then it will crawl back above 91. Dollar index pushed lower Friday, got sent lower Friday, but just below the 55 moving average and the support and 61.8 retracement at 107.16, just around that level, bounced here, and I think it will slightly crawling higher in the coming days. I think it will continue bouncing. You see the RSI is just above 40 threshold still. However, if it takes out the lows from Friday, expect to see dollar index at 106.40 level down here, and RSI possibly also below 40. But if we can get back above the level here at 108.36, well, then uptrend is likely to resume. Gold is also stepping back a little bit after reaching the 138 projection of this correction down here, bearish trend there at 27.80, and the 38.2 projection of the entire triangle-like patterns. I think we'll see a little bit of set. We're possibly down to test the 27.25 area around here where there's some support, and then I think we'll bounce higher. The RSI is still bullish on the daily chart here, and no divergence. Same picture on the weekly chart, really. So fairly strong picture indeed. We have the silver still struggling, and let's zoom in here. Still struggling, actually, as we speak, below the lower rising trend line here, but just above the 200 moving average. You can see RSI being rejected at 60 threshold, and the silver rejected at 31. So those levels are key. It's really key for silver to close above 31 to gain some upside momentum. Maybe it was started by copper that got rejected here at the 61.8 retracement of this little downtrend here at 438, and now it's likely to test the support here at 423.5. If it breaks below that, well, then we are looking for 418, maybe even 410. However, the RSI is still in a bullish sentiment or positive sentiment, so that will be key. What will it do? Will it break below 40 or not? Or will we bounce here also on copper? So really also the knife sets at the moment, uncertainties here. If it takes out the Friday, the peak from Friday at 438.85, well, then expect push towards 447 and higher. WTI crude oil still in a correction phase, could spike lower to the 61.8 at just around $73, and where we also have some support here. I think we'll do it, but still positive sentiment on the RSI, so we could bounce back. If it starts crawling back above $75, well, then maybe uptrend will resume. But for now, we are in a bearish correction. Brent crude oil. Also just above its 50% here at 77 30. Still risk down to the 61.8 at $76. There's still potential to slide back lower there. If we're starting pushing back above $80 again, then uptrend is to resume. The Dutch TTF gas still can't get close above 51, and maybe consumers in Europe should be happy about that, but we are still in a bullish trend, and if it takes out 51 level, well, then as we can see here on the weekly, just let's recap what's going on. We can see we're trading around the 786 retracement here, just around $40, $49, $49.5. There's still potential up to 55, 56, but for now it's taking a breather. So keep an eye on the 51 level. Henry Hub gas in US, well, still above the rising trend line here. But it failed to follow through after closing above $4. We are still in a bullish trend, but as you can see, we have divergence here on the RSI declining. So maybe you're stretched a little bit on the nat gas, and if it starts moving below the lower rising trend line, we could see it falling back even further below 3.5, 3.25. On the US 10-year Treasury yields, well, key support here at 450. If it takes out that, well, then suddenly we are looking lower, and it could be forming a shoulder pattern, and this will then we'll have the neckline to be just around there, but I will say 450, and then suddenly we are pushing lower towards, and let me just show you what we can do. We can then calculate it and say, okay, maybe then we're looking down here around at least 440, maybe even 430. But for now, we are still in a bullish trend. If it takes out the little peak there at 466, 467, well, then uptrend is to resume on 2-year Treasury yield. The 2-year Treasury yield testing the lower rising trend line here, but key support at 415, also forming a little bit, not the best one, but still maybe a shoulder-like pattern. But let's see, 450 is still key, but it could be tested at 415 if it breaks below this rising trend line here. And as we speak, it actually that's what it's doing. On the European 10-year, the Euro 10-year, pushing lower here early morning, and after bouncing from the 50%, maybe we'll see it down to 44 support, which is the 61.8 retracement. Let's see, but it's not a likely. However, still positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating likely higher levels later. And we have the UK 10 back below 460, key support here around 450. Bitcoin is being beaten this morning and actually started yesterday, and actually also, as you can see here, after it couldn't close higher, it spiked higher, and that was a bit of a bad sign. So now we are just around the 55 moving average. If it starts moving below 90,000, well, then we could see it's being hit by sell-off. But still, the uptrend is intact, higher there, and so we are in. I'm a little bit uncertain what's going on at the moment, and it seems like it can't make its mind up. What's not really can't figure out what's going on is Ethereum. It seems to be quite heavy, testing 3,000 again, could break lower to around 2,800, maybe even lower if it breaks below the 3,000 and takes out the spike down there at 2,900. So keep an eye on those levels, and you see 55 moving average starting to turn over negative sentiment. So Ethereum actually the weaker link here. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day. Talk to you again tomorrow.